Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and in this video I'm going to rank all the Game of Thrones seasons. Yeah, with House of the Dragon coming out soon, it's time to rank all 8 seasons of Game of Thrones. And as I said, I am a huge Game of Thrones fan. This was my favorite show of all time for a very long time, until the crappy last season. Part of me still considers it my favorite. Another part of me wonders, was it all worth it thanks to this crappy last season, which kind of spoils what will be my number 8, but still. I said I'm mixed. On one hand, the journey I endured was amazing, and first seasons are still some of the best TV I ever seen, but on the other hand, this last season really was absolute trash. So, yeah. So, let's get to the ranking. Coming in number 8 is, we already know, season 8. That season is absolute trash. Absolute total trash. Actually, first 3 episodes with the White Walker storyline were actually pretty good. Maybe they defeated the White Walkers too easily. Other than that, I thought it was started out strong. First 2 episodes with the setup were great. Then the fight with the White Walkers was actually intense. And while it ended a little too easily, it still wasn't enough to ruin my enjoyment of the show, and I was actually happy they were able to defeat the White Walkers. But then the next 3 episodes, that's when it gets total trashy. I'll never forgive how they butchered Daenerys Targaryen. Daenerys has always been one of my favorite Game of Thrones characters, and I know Daenerys of the first 7 seasons would never do what this Daenerys has done. She would never burn the whole city full of innocent people. So I will never forgive how they butchered her character. And I wasn't a huge fan how they threw Jaime's redemption out the window, and they basically made him return to Cersei. If there is one thing I liked about the last 3 episodes, is that I liked Sansa becoming queen in the north, and I did like Tyrion becoming Hand of the King, and Samwell Tarly the Grand Maester. But as far as the positives go, other than that, the ending was absolute trash. Now I say, the other 7 seasons were fantastic. Other 7 seasons were fantastic. So from now on, all the seasons are ranked here. I'll go as far as to call great. It's just that some are better than others, but every single one of the seasons now is great. A weak season of Game of Thrones is still great TV, with the exception of the already ranked season 8, which was, as I said, trash, but everything else now is great. So, coming in number 7 is season 7. This season was already getting a lot of hate, but I personally always loved it and still do a lot. Sure, it has flaws, the fast travel really gets on my nerves, and I thought the pacing was a little too fast at this season. But other than that, the story was actually great. The Spoils of War is honestly one of my favorite episodes of Game of Thrones, and it's definitely in the top 10 best episodes. And I love the way Cersei got her revenge on Ellaria Sand for murdering her daughter. I love all the callbacks to previous seasons, and I love the Stark reunion. Oh, and the other thing I didn't like, besides the fast travel, I wasn't a huge fan of the conflict between Arya and Sansa. It felt very artificial, and it felt like it was just there, just find a way to get rid of Littlefinger. I love the conclusion in which Littlefinger finally bit in the dust, but the conflict between Arya and Sansa was very poorly made. I didn't like it at all. So yeah, season 7, great season, has few flaws, but other than that, it's a very great season. In contrast to season 8. Season 8 is trash. Season 7 is the definition of rushed, but still very good. So yeah, season 7, great season, though comes number 7. And then number 6 is season 5. Season 5, as I said, one of the weaker Game of Thrones seasons is still fantastic TV, and season 5 is a perfect example of that. The pacing here is much slower than it is in the previous seasons, and some episodes drag a lot, but the payoff of the season is pretty great. Like 8th episode, Hardhome, it's still one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones, and it perfectly sets up the threat of the White Walkers and shows us how a big threat they really are. I mean, season 8, we all know, kind of nullified this, but that's a different story. Season 5 in Hardhome perfectly showed us how big the threat of the White Walkers are. And the ending really makes you want to watch more of it, the way when Jon Snow gets assassinated. And the scene of the burning of Shireen of Baratheon is still likely the saddest scene in the entire show, and still so difficult to watch. But it shows how far Stannis has come in his quest to become the king of the Seven Kingdoms. So yeah, season 5, great season. Coming in at number 5, that's season 1. Like, season 1 is basically a setup. Like, it introduces us to the world of Ice and Fire. It introduces us to characters. It shows us the conflict that's going on. And it's pretty great. And hooks you in. Especially the ending when Ned Stark gets executed. Like, yeah, it's still one of the most famous season endings in show's history. And it's so amazing. It basically shows us nobody in the show is safe. Like, even the seemingly main character isn't safe. Like, he gets captured, and we all wonder how is he gonna get out of it. But that's the winning finale. He doesn't. Which, if you think about it, makes perfect sense, because there wasn't really a way for him to get out of this. We just think he will because he's a hero. But nope. This world doesn't work like that. And yeah, so season 1 at number 5. At number 4, season 2. Like, this season 1 was great, but season 2 was even better. Like, it improved on season 1 in almost many ways. Like, the story is even more engaging. Like, the action is getting even more intense, and there are lots of twists and turns. The characters go on journeys we might not expect them to. Like, yeah, no one expected the Hound to leave Joffrey by the end of it, and Arya is becoming a little darker. Like, that's what she's creating her list of people she wants to kill. Robb Stark is now a king in the north, and he's planning to have revenge on his father. Yeah, season 2 is fantastic. Like, honestly, as I said, I've met many people who prefer season 1, but not me. Like, I personally think season 2 is much better than season 1. And finally, the last 3 seasons in my ranking are almost tied up. Like, I love all 3 of them almost equally. I will rank them the way I will, but as I said, the last 3 I consider incredible and fantastic. And some of the best TV I ever seen. So yeah, at number 3, season 6. Yeah, season 6 is just amazing. Like, it gave us Battle of the Bastards, still in my top 5 favorite episodes of all time. And the ending, the finale, the Winds of Winter just blew me away. It was so fantastic. And also, it paid off many things, like the Starks reclaim their glory, Daenerys is finally coming to Westeros, the Boltons are finally defeated, and Arya Stark became an assassin and decided to go back to Westeros to exact her revenge. Yeah, this season is just amazing, and in many ways, because it tied up many plot threads, it feels in some ways like a finale. And it's certainly a much better finale than the actual finale. Like, many people say, they pretend like the show ended at season 6, and honestly, I don't blame them. Like, season 6, in many ways, feels like a finale, and as I said, it's a much, much better finale than the actual finale. So yeah, season 6, one of the best Game of Thrones seasons, incredible season, and at number 3. And at number 2, season 3. Like, season 3 gave us the Red Wedding. Like, it's the scene nobody ever expected. Like, sure, we all thought Robb Stark was going to avenge his father and he'll be the ultimate hero of the story, right? Wrong. A bad guys won again, but this time on a much larger scale. Combine that with many other great things, like Sam thoroughly defeating the White Walker, accidentally but still, or Daenerys freeing the Unsullied and getting them into her army, or the relationship between Jaime Lannister and Brienne of Tarth, which has been butchered in season 8 again, but again, that's a different story. But that's when their relationship and bond started developing, and it was so amazing. And in many ways, it's a setup for season 4, which isn't necessarily bad. There are great setup, and season 3 is a perfect example. Like, I often like contrasting season 3 with season 5. Both are very much sets up, but season 5 is slow and drags, while season 3 is interesting through and through. So yeah, season 3, my second favorite Game of Thrones seasons. But my number one Game of Thrones season is season 4. Like, that season is Game of Thrones at its best. Like, every episode in the season is amazing. And when I said Battle of the Bastards is in my top 5 favorite episodes of Game of Thrones, well, all other 4 are in this season, like The Laws of Gods and Men, The Lion and the Rose, The Watchers on the Wall. Yeah, like, every episode this season is amazing, and as I said, my entire top 5, except with the exception of Battle of the Bastards, would be composed of of season 4 episodes. Like in the very second episode, Joffrey Baratheon finally gets his punishment and gets poisoned to death. Also, Tyrion kills his father, Tywin Lannister, and leaves Westeros. That happens at the end of the season. The duel between the Mountain and the Viper is amazing, as is Tyrion's trial, and Tyrion's final speech in his trial, still one of the best scenes in Game of Thrones history. And this season, in many ways, just like season 3 was a setup, season 4 was a payoff. And a very amazing payoff at that. Like, season 4 is simply an incredible season, and it's Game of Thrones at its best. And it might probably be the best season of any TV show in show's history. Yeah. Season 4 at number 1, Game of Thrones at its best. Okay, so here you have my ranking of all the Game of Thrones seasons. What is your ranking of the Game of Thrones seasons? Do you agree with my ranking? Would you rank them differently? Please tell me in the comments below what do you think. Tell me your ranking. And please subscribe to this channel, press the like button, and I will talk to you soon in another video. Talk to you later. Bye. And we'll see how House of the Dragon turns out. So again, talk to you later. Bye.